People you still think about. Let's hop into it.
Losing someone hurts.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. What a sentence to start it out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it does.
Time can heal, sure, but that usually only works for the few people you lose to a fight, a death, or a reason you can point to. But the hundreds who quietly drift out of your life, time doesn't heal that. It only makes you miss them more. Statistically, you lose roughly 50% of your closest relationships every 7 years, meaning that half of the people you regularly talk to right now will eventually become strangers to you.
Dude, oh my gosh. I think about this often, right? So when I graduated high school, I moved across the country. I moved 800 miles away to go to school. And like, there are not a lot of people from my high school that I still talk to. And you would think that for those 4 years of high school, like the people that I stayed the night at their houses, dude, stayed up till 6 a.m. playing video games, bro, those people, I don't even know them anymore. It's so weird.
Strangers who still know each other, still remember things, still think about it.
Whoops. Sorry. I forgot to change the screen. Anyways.
Years, meaning that half of the people you regularly talk to right now will eventually become strangers to you. Strangers who still know each other, still remember things, still think about each other from time to time. And for most of these losses, nothing will go wrong. The relationship will just die out so slowly that you probably won't notice it did. Because most friendships exist because of forced proximity. School, classrooms, shared routine.
Facts. There are people that I went to basic training with for the military. Bro, they were like ride or dies. Like these people, I was like, man, we've been through everything together. Not everything. We haven't been through war together, but like in my mind, like we've been through it all together, man. And so, but now, like several years later, it's like, dude, I don't even talk to them anymore. We were so close because we were so physically close, you know? And the same with college. There are a lot of guys that I played college football with that I just don't know them anymore. Just don't. It's sad.
Seeing the same people every day without having to try. And when that structure disappears, which it almost always does, a lot of those connections disappear with it. People move, schedules change, lives stop overlapping, and so messages come less often, and replies start to take longer each time, until one day there's nothing left to respond to. This drift spikes at very specific points in life. Studies show that friendship
The people that you used to talk to a bunch, like, do you miss them? That's something I think about. Like, do I miss them? Like, there are certain people that I do miss for sure. But then there are other people where it's like, do I miss them, or do I just miss who I was when I knew them? Right? Does that make sense? Like, do I miss how carefree my life was when I was living a life that was accompanied by them? Yeah, I don't know.
Satisfaction drops sharply between the ages of 18 and 29, because that's when attention gets fragmented for the first time. School ends, people move cities, responsibilities start, everyone is suddenly managing time, energy, and identity all at once. And most
people grow up in split paths, dude. Yeah, like, there's one person from high school. There's one person that I went to high school with that I still consistently talk to. Like, he'll probably call me within the next 2 days, or I'll call him. Like, but I was friends with a lot of people in high school. Friends. Like, I don't know. My friend group in high school, like when we graduated 2 days later, we took a road trip down to Florida together. And that was like peak of our friendship. Like peak high school experience was right after high school. Like we didn't have a care in the world. We just took a trip down to Florida. And like, it was so cool because we paid for it with our own money. It was just like the most beautiful example of free will. And we were just like, dude, squeezed into my car. Some people flew. And it was awesome. And it's just like I talk to one of those dudes now. One of the boys I still talk to. Uh,
People haven't learned how to do that yet. You don't lose people because you wanted to. You lose them because you didn't know how to carry them forward. And unlike the losses you notice, these disappearances leave no closure. And because of the Zeigarnik effect, our brain's tendency to remember unfinished tasks, they linger as names you almost search for, messages you almost send, people you almost reach out to but never do.
Bro, not even almost send. Bro, there was one time, oh my gosh, this is a few weeks ago, and if he sees this, oh well. Bro, this made me so sad. Oh my gosh. So speaking of that Florida trip, my friend, his name's Carter. Carter and I, we were on the phone. We were just talking about life, and like we were looking back at high school, because this happens like probably once every 2 weeks. We'll look back at something that happened in high school, because we both really treated it like a game, and it was just such a fun game to play was high school, and looking back on it, we were just talking about the Florida trip and how that went and just how much we loved it. And then there's this one dude who, I'm not going to say his name, but I was like, you know what? You know who I always admired? You know who I always looked up to? Because he never really cared what, like the way he grew as a person was not the same path that most of our friends took to grow as a person. Like there are a few people that growing up, they refused to grow outside of each other. Like they're within a friend group. I always say like there are always like two guys that are super close, and in our friend group we had a few. So like it was me and Carter, and then there was another two dudes that were like butt buddies, and then there were another two dudes that were super close. So it was six of us, and then there were some people that kind of rotated around the group, and they'd come in and out. But the last two people that I'm thinking of, one of them was always super capable of growing outside of his best friend. Like he was always pushing himself. He was always in the gym getting stronger. He was always pushing himself academically, even though he wasn't the smartest person out there. Like he was always just he took AP Calculus. Why would you take AP Calc? Why? But he did it to push himself, and he went for a degree that would push himself. And bro, it was so sad, because I was like, you know who's probably doing fantastic right now that I haven't heard from in a while? Is this dude. So I grabbed my phone and I texted him. I was like, hey man, just on the phone with Carter right now, and we were just reminiscing about, you know, our Florida trip, and just made me realize I hadn't talked to you in a minute. I just wanted to text you, say, hope you're doing well. Hope life's treating you well. I'm sure you're doing great. And I sent that text, and then his response was, I'm good. Goodbye. Bro. I'm good. Goodbye. Brother. Like, I don't know. I feel like even people that I didn't like in high school, even people that I was friends with because they were like in proximity with, but I would not want to spend any time with them in a vacuum. Like I wouldn't want to just be with them. I would only be with them if they were with my friend group. Even though there were people like that, like, oh, dude, like if they texted me, even if I didn't like them, I'd still respond. I'd still be like, hey, good to hear from you. I'm doing great. How are you? Like, and maybe we'd have a little conversation. Like that even happened with my ex once, like a year or two ago. Like, I don't know. Even the people you're not a fan of, you just on a human level, just hope they're doing well. And that just made me sad. I was like, dude, why do I even try? You know? I don't know. Anyway.
Eventually, the silence feels permanent. You stop expecting them to be part of your life, and in a way, they stop expecting you to be in theirs. And yet all that time apart doesn't erase the part of you that remembers them and wishes for them back. Because you're still following each other, still seeing their posts, watching birthdays pass them.
Bro, that's so true. I had to stop before I'm at a point in life where I like was just too addicted to social media, so I had to delete a lot of it off of my phone. And but before I did that, like I there were certain people I went to school with that I just had to unfollow, because it was so sad. Like we'd see each other, but like it wasn't the same, and like they almost treated me like I was the new kid because I was one of like three people in my friend group that actually moved out and moved hundreds of miles away. Everybody else just pretty much stayed in the same spot. And so when I went back to hang out with them, it just felt weird, and I felt like an outcast kind of thing, even though I never felt like that when I was actually in high school. And so when like I just had to unfollow them because it was so sad, because every time I saw them post together, it just reminded me of like, dang man, bro, to them, I'm I'm nobody, dude. Like I'm a guy, and I can bro, yeah, Eber, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, man, it's rough cuz like I can force myself to have the confidence to just go up to random people. This is something that happened like when I started working for a church. Like I just knew that I had to become good at talking to people. And so I can force myself um to have that confidence to go talk to somebody. But like if all I remember about my interaction with you is that I had to force myself to talk to you because it just wasn't like a genuine friend to friend interaction, it just sucks. Crazy part of is if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't even talk to each other, bro. That's something I think about a lot. Is there? I don't know. There's this scripture that says, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and I think about how many times throughout life, like there were times in life when I know people that just like they're always at odds with each other. I'm going full screen for this. They're always at odds with each other, and they're always fighting. And I remember so many times where I'm just talking to both of them separately, and I'm just like, please don't hate each other. Please just, I'm sure he means well. I'm sure she means well. Like, it'll be okay. And like, when I was around, like, then I was able to keep that peace. But then when I became like almost out, when I got out of the picture, um, it's hard because like now the or like situations where like I'm grow in life in certain ways, and because I've tried in recent years never to allow the people around me to hold me back from where I want to grow, if that makes sense. So like if I have a goal to reach a certain savings amount, then that's going to mean that I can't go out to eat as much as everybody else. And so like when this is an example, this isn't what happened, but like if I can't go out to eat as much, then other people who don't have that same goal to get their finances in check, or maybe they're just making a lot more money than me, so they don't have to worry about that. Just different aspects of life. If I say, okay, I can't go out to eat as much, what I'm thinking of is like them getting upset about me not wanting to do the same stuff they do. And so now I'm an outcast in that group. But the two people that used to always butt heads, now their common enemy is me. And so now they get along. And it's such a weird thing to witness. Such a weird thing to witness. Let me use the bathroom every morning, and now we don't even attempt to say my name. Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. Careful with weed though. I have my best friend in high school, Carter. Bro, he used to show up to school high as a kite, dude. He used to show up, glasses on, that you couldn't tell what his eyes looked like. It was hilarious. But yeah, I think talking to him now, he's quit, and he's just like, yeah, dude, the greatest thing we did was like, or the greatest thing I did for my own sanity and health is to stop smoking. But yeah, dude, I get it. Like when you used to just do life together, like there are these certain people you'll have in life where you don't have to say anything. You just know it's like, bro, like you could be the only two dudes in a room and you'll be laughing. Last weekend. Yeah, this week was my last week. Awesome. Yeah. Bro, like, ugh. The people that you wouldn't have to say anything funny, but if you sat next to them in a class, you'd be cracking up about something dumb. It's like, it's those people that you just kind of look back on sometimes and you're just like, dang, man. Ugh. It's rough. Anyways.
Life updates you weren't part of. You scroll past their photos and feel this strange sense of knowing someone without actually knowing them anymore. And you hate it.
Bro, that's another thing is, okay, I'm in a minority of men that post a lot on social media. Sorry, I keep pausing this, but I post a lot on social media because I want to be able to do social media, like, as probably not a part of a full-time thing, but I'd like to be able to do it on the side. I love talking to people and interacting with people online. But bro, like, most of the people that I know from high school, they don't even post. So I have no idea what's going on in their lives. Not a clue. No idea what's happening. Some of them post too much, and then those are the people that I had to unfollow because it was just hard, because they'd be the type of people that wouldn't that treated me kind of like an outsider. But like, the people that I do like want to know, like the guy I was talking about that said, "I'm good, goodbye," like, he doesn't post at all on social media. I have no idea how his life's going. But anyways.
So, you think of reaching out again. You imagine what it would be like to just send a message, to hear a voice, to reconnect. But what if they don't feel the same? What if they forgot about you a while back? Maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they changed too much and they're no longer the person you knew. Maybe it's awkward, embarrassing even. Maybe the timing is wrong. Doubts keep flooding your mind as you're looking at your past messages, which now feel like they weren't yours to begin with. And so, you don't send anything.
Bro, were you ever a part of a 3-person group chat? Oh my goodness. 3-person group chats are amazing. If you're ever a part of a 3-person group chat, you know what I'm talking about. Going back and looking at those messages to know what type of shenanigans you were up to years ago, funniest thing ever. Things I would never say now. Funny, career-ending things. Funny times. Amazing times. Anyways.
Time you don't. Because the longer it's been, the harder it feels to justify breaking the silence, even if the reason for the silence was never intentional in the first place. Psychologically, this makes sense. Humans tend to avoid situations where the outcome is unclear and emotionally risky. Reaching out to someone you haven't spoken to in years carries the possibility of rejection, awkwardness, or indifference. Even if that outcome is unlikely, which it is, the brain treats it as a threat, so it chooses the safer option, which is doing nothing. And there's a decent chance the person you're thinking of experiences the same thoughts, and yet you might never talk again.
Bro, that dude that I texted, do you think that he actually was like thinking about me though? Like, oh my gosh, it's so weird to think about. Like, do you think that there were like a few times, I don't know, like maybe there were a few times that he was thinking about me and wishing that I reached out, and I just reached out too late? I don't know. And then the other thing is, like, how many people are thinking about, like, I wonder how Johnny's doing, but they don't reach out because they don't want it to be awkward. But like, bro, I would live for that interaction. Like there's some people, from high school, if they called me today, brother, I am answering that phone call, and we could be on the phone for hours. But then is it my fault for not calling them? But then I don't want to break the awkward silence if it's going to be an awkward phone call, because awkward phone calls are the worst. If you ever had to be on a phone call with somebody for work that you don't know, worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. My first interaction with somebody last week was over the phone on a phone call. I have no idea what his mannerisms are. I have no idea what he's like. Worst thing ever. But, oh my goodness. Anyways.
Initiating consistently predicts rejection or awkwardness, although it's statistically unlikely. In large studies on reconnection, the overwhelming majority reported feeling happy, surprised, or genuinely touched when someone from their past reaches out.
What I'm saying,
even when they don't respond immediately, even when life has changed, the reaction is usually overwhelmingly positive. We consistently underestimate how much we matter to others. Psychologists call this the liking gap. We assume people care less than they actually do. That's why we fear risking it. And it's biological, not just mental. The brain processes social rejection using the same neural systems it uses for physical pain. To prove this, researchers put people in a brain scanner and had them play a simple online ball tossing game. At first, everyone was included. Then, about halfway through this game of catch among the three of them, the subjects stopped receiving the ball and the two other supposed players threw the ball only to each other.
Bro, oh my goodness. That's crazy. Like, you ever been that third person? Like, you playing catch with the football? But somebody else, yeah, I don't know. Playing catch with the football, but somebody wants to throw it further, but you can't throw it further. Bro, because I have the most unathletic football throw ever. Oh my goodness. I can make it spiral, but I don't know how to throw. Like, I played line. I played offensive and defensive line, bro. I can't throw with the hoot. We were playing this game last night with some friends. I don't know, it's some burrito game. Or basically, it's like a card game, and you have to get 3 of a kind. And if you get 3 of, like, the burrito war or whatever, you put down burrito war, everybody around you got to grab these, like, styrofoam burritos and chuck them at each other. Whoever gets hit first loses. Brother, I had the least athletic throws ever. The worst part, they had this thing called burrito duel, bro. We had to line up back to back and be like 3, 2, 1, turn around, just chuck a burrito at somebody, bro. Sick. Should play that game with a legit burrito.
People felt excluded. The areas that lit up were the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, regions normally active when the body experiences physical pain, like burning or injury. The brain reacted to being left out the same way it reacts to being hurt. The more rejected someone reported feeling, the stronger the pain response became. Social pain was processed as real pain. That's why the possibility of being ignored can feel like something to avoid at all costs. Staying silent hurts less in the short term, even if it costs you more over time. Meanwhile, life keeps moving. On average, an adult has about 5 people they consider very close. Around 15 they feel emotionally close to.
Yeah, this is something I think about a lot. Like, the 5 closest people to me. I think some of them are, like, family members. Like, I've moved so many times in the past few years that, like, the 5 closest people to me, I don't even know. Like, I don't know who those 5 people are. I know who one is. I know who 3 are. I know who the 3 closest people are. I don't know about 5. 15 best friends is kind of crazy.
And roughly 150 total.
Okay. 150 casual friends. I think that makes sense. Casual friends being like acquaintances. Like, I don't know. Goodness. Well, like, if you're in school, I guess it depends on the size of your school. But I'd say I know probably over 150 people. I think so. Between military, church, and high school and college. Yeah. Like, there are people, if you see them, like, at the mall or something, if you have a functional mall in your city, you see them, you could be like, hey, what's up? Tap them up real quick. Be like, yeah, well, good to see you. But I don't know. I don't know what constitutes a good friend, though.
Social connections at all times, meaning people don't get replaced so much as their roles do. Someone else becomes the person you talk to, or laugh with, or update about your day, but that doesn't erase the connection that existed before. It just means life filled the space functionally, not emotionally. Which is why certain people stay stuck in your mind even...
Friends of proximity are so rough once you realize that they're friends of proximity. Like, when you move from somewhere and you realize that you don't talk to them because you're not forced to be close to them anymore, that's a rough place to be. A stupid rough place to be. Like, yeah. Anyways.
When you haven't spoken in years, they're probably the ones that you didn't fully replace their roles yet. And the longer it's been, the more your memory starts editing things. What you remember feels warmer, simpler, safer than it probably was. especially during moments when you feel lonely or uncertain about where your life is headed. Studies led by Konstantin Sadikides found that when people feel lonely, anxious, or uncertain, they instinctively reach for memories that restore continuity. The COVID-19 pandemic made that truth impossible to ignore. During lockdowns, we rewatched comfort shows, baked childhood snacks, streamed old songs. Data from Spotify showed a surge in music from the listeners' teenage years, especially early 2000 pop. Even Google searches for nostalgia hit record highs in 2020.
Yeah, COVID is what spawned the Florida trip with my friends. Like, I was on a Minecraft Disney World server with one of my friends, and I was just like, dude, we might not ever be able to get to go here because the world's gonna shut down. We're all gonna die. And so you're like, all right, when the world opens back up, start saying when to believe that it would, but like when the world opens back up, we're gonna go to Florida. And Florida was just a nostalgic place for me. That's crazy. Anyways.
When the future shuts down, the past becomes our safest place to hide. And that's why you tell yourself you'll reach out someday.
That's why I play Minecraft. Bro, the other night I was playing Bed Wars, cooking, but I was up till like 1:30 in the morning. It was terrible. Terrible. Because I still woke up like at a reasonable weekend time, and I was just like, I woke up, like my alarm went off. I was just like, I don't want to get out of bed. But Minecraft is so nostalgic. That's why I have a hardcore world now that I'm working on Elite. But anyways.
Not now. Not like this. Not without some reason, which you know will probably never come. You think about typing the message more times than you can count, usually late at night.
That's weird. That's something that I don't think I experience. I never think about, man, I wonder what would happen if I, well, I think about it, but I'm not typing it out and then just watching it kind of sit there. Because my worry is, iMessage, you can see the text bubble. What if they're thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time, but they're just not typing it out and they just see me typing, and then they wait for me to send a text message, but then that text message never comes because I'm never actually going to send it? Brother, that would stress me the freak out. Because, like, you're never going to know. You'll never know if they saw it. Because what incentive would they have to text you and say, hey, I saw your text bubbles. What were you about to text me about? That's never going to happen. Nope. Ugh. Yeah, no. I've typed out stuff in my notes app, though. Don't want text bubbles to show up, but you want to type something out that's well thought out. I've typed that thing in my notes app 4 times before I sent it.
Reminds you of them for no clear reason. And you're not alone in this. The average adult frequently recalls past relationships, often multiple times a week. In the end, the connection survives only in your head. You picture running into them someday by accident. At an airport maybe, somehow booking the seat next to you on a plane, somewhere fate can take the blame for the conversation starting. In your imagination, it goes smoothly. You catch up effortlessly. You laugh the way you used to. You feel that old familiarity snap back into place like it never left. And deep down, you know that if it ever actually happened, it probably wouldn't feel like that. It would be clumsy, brief, polite, or painfully short, which somehow makes the imagined version even harder to let go of. People feel embarrassed for missing someone who hasn't contacted them, embarrassed for caring more than they think the other person does. Thoughts like, if they wanted to talk to me, they would, or it's been too long for me to feel this way. So the attachment gets treated like a weakness, something immature, something to outgrow. Even though attachment is one of the most human things there is. And what makes this harder is that our fear is usually wrong. When researchers actually looked at what happens...
Yeah, even if your fear is usually wrong, the fear is, I think, what if the fear's right? You know? Like, what if I send that text? Oh my gosh, I was just talking about it. I didn't even realize that. I wasn't even thinking about that. But, like, what if you send out a text and they don't care? What then?
When researchers actually looked at what happens, they found that when adults reconnect with childhood friends decades later, they often describe something unexpected. Not that it feels exactly the same, but that it comes back faster than they thought it would. Awkwardness, when it showed up at all, usually faded within 1 or 2 exchanges. What people actually regretted most wasn't trying and failing. It was never trying at all. And middle-aged people who never did rank it as their biggest regret.
How many people try and fail? How many people try and fail? I don't know. It's not that I regret trying and failing. It's that it freaking sucks. Not that it's like, oh man, I wish I never reached out. But it's like, dang, reaching out sucked. So I don't think it's regret. It's just knowing that it was not great.
Nurses often talk about what people mention at the end of their lives. It's rarely missed promotions or unfinished goals. It's people. Because we don't realise how much someone mattered to us while they were still around. We realise it in the void they leave behind. Some were only meant to exist in a specific chapter of your life. They belong to a version of you that no longer fully exists. And that's okay, but it doesn't mean you should just forget them either. Mark Granovetter found that it's often the weaker ties in our lives, old friends, distant connections, that shape us more than we realise. They're the ones that expand our sense of the world, that remind us of who we used to be and who we might still become. Yet you almost never know when you're living the last normal day with someone. You always assume you'll stay in touch.
Ugh,
both of you do.
That's the worst.
Until one day, you realise you didn't.
What a video. What a video.
Subscribe to Johnny Woodfield on YouTube.
Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time.